Highly sensitive people. How to date a HSP. Good day, everyone. Welcome back to The Mind Explained. It's great to meet again. In this video, we'll be sharing with you the secrets to dating a highly sensitive person properly. But first, subscribe to our channel and click the notification bell to get notified whenever a new video is uploaded. Highly sensitive people, or HSPs for short, have heightened perceptions of life, and their interactions reflect this. Deep connections are fairly common for them, as is the occasional, "Wait, are you mad at me?" texting after a minor disagreement. But it's more than just experiencing a bunch of emotions. What does it mean to be a highly sensitive person? Let's take a step back for a moment. High sensitivity is a perfectly healthy and normal hereditary trait. We mean perfectly normal when we say that. Elaine Aron, the clinical psychologist who first identified the feature in the late 1990s, discovered that 15 to 20% of the global population is extremely sensitive, even those who claim to be different. The HSP nervous system processes external inputs more completely than others because it has a vast inner environment. We like to say it's like turning up the volume on your typical life experience in incredibly casual discourse. From emotions to sexual attraction and everything in between, the intensity of every sensation is increased. When you put in the effort to understand and develop your own sensitivity, it can transform into a wonderful strength rather than a burden, because, HSP or not, the quality of our interactions with others is ultimately determined by our relationships with ourselves. You might not realize you're in a relationship with a highly sensitive individual, but you'll recognize some of the indicators. Highly sensitive persons, HSPs, are deeply thoughtful, frequently creative people who are highly affected by their emotions. They process information and ideas more profoundly than others because of a biological difference in their nervous system, which leads to their greatest talents and also their occasional vulnerability. Here are 3 truths concerning highly sensitive persons that everyone should be aware of. Being hypersensitive is a common personality feature. About 15 to 20% of the population carries the gene that makes them extremely sensitive. High sensitivity is an actual scientifically validated trait. Anyone with a high level of sensory processing sensitivity, SPS, a personality attribute, is termed highly sensitive in psychology. SPS is a trait that involves deeply digesting experiences and stimuli, and a person with high SPS exhibits brain distinctions. Being extremely sensitive has both benefits and cons. Highly sensitive people are empathetic, artistically creative, intuitive, and acutely aware of others' needs, to the point that they thrive as therapists, counselors, artists, singers, and writers. However, extremely sensitive people can experience feelings of stress, weariness, and burnout as a result of absorbing or sensing all of the emotional cues from those around them. Any high sensory input might overwhelm sensitive persons, including loud, crowded, or visually stimulating places. Here are the things you need to know about dating a HSP. What you feel will be noticed by your HSP. People can't get by in life by lying white falsehoods about their emotions. For instance, "What's the matter?" "Nothing's bothering me, I'm fine." These small white lies are intended to lubricate relationships by smoothing out the rough spots. Highly sensitive people, on the other hand, can't help but notice the unspoken emotional clues, such as tightness in your voice, a sag in your shoulders, or a sudden avoidance of eye contact. HSPs don't do this consciously. They simply process the signals and absorb what you're feeling, which means they feel it as well. Your tension becomes their stress, and your controlled rage can turn into an all-night panic attack. It helps if you're willing to communicate openly about your feelings, and most importantly, if you have, or can learn, good listening skills. They'll know they've found a keeper when the HSP can open up about their feelings and know they'll be heard and welcomed. Allow a little bit more time for your HSP to acclimatize to changes. Change is difficult for everybody, but HSPs assimilate information more thoroughly than others. As a result, even positive changes, such as beginning a new relationship, can be overwhelming. If you've ever seen someone cry because they've received good news, they were probably extremely sensitive. As a result, HSPs approach relationships cautiously, especially at first. Don't be startled if your HSP requires alone time or appears lukewarm at first. They're doing what they've learned is necessary to safeguard their hearts and their stress level. Choose your memories with caution. I think we can all agree that a slasher horror film isn't the best choice for a first date unless you're familiar with the other person's preferences. Even more, with mainstream films, stay away from anything that is likely to be overly violent or graphic, because HSPs are prone to feeling the agony and emotions of people on screen. While some suspense is acceptable, violence and brutality frequently leave HSPs feeling distressed and overwhelmed. There will be moments when you will be astounded. All of this discourse about stress and processing has a positive side. The same characteristics that make being an HSP so difficult also make it a rare gift that grows in strength with time. Dating an HSP implies that every now and then you'll be astounded by the insights or the beauty of something they make, seemingly out of nowhere. When it comes to dating an HSP, here's the deal. They reveal their brilliance as well as their vulnerabilities once they have gained your trust. You have to understand that they require alone time from time to time. Introverts make up a small percentage of extremely sensitive persons. Some people are outgoing, but everyone, even the most outgoing and chatty, needs to vanish and be left alone from time to time. This is due to the fact that stimuli of any type, social or otherwise, can quickly overload an HSP's senses, and they require time to calm down. If you share a room, your HSP may have a room that is solely theirs and will not allow you to enter. If you live apart, they may appear to vanish for a few days, or even an afternoon, while they process. You must respect your HSP and not interrupt their alone time when they say they need it. If you want them, you can have them alert you when they have to do this so you know what's going on. Be ready to engage and connect with them on a deeper level. Highly sensitive people think about the important issues in life because they process information profoundly. That could be as personal as how a friendship will develop or as big as humanity's future. In either case, HSPs seek to get over the superficial chit-chat swiftly, bring an open mind and a readiness to discuss important topics. You must understand that their surroundings have an impact on them. Some places are more appealing to us than others. However, an HSP's system expends far more energy digesting the signals in their environment, whether it's noise, light, activity, or the presence of other people. That means that even a somewhat busy place can soon overwhelm an HSP system, forcing them to leave or risk overwhelming and collapsing. 3 simple rules apply to an HSP's partner. Consider whether your HSP will appreciate a setting before making a reservation. Give them plenty of notice if a location will be loud, crowded, or hectic. And be sympathetic and supportive if they indicate they need to leave, even if they were having a good time just minutes before. You must know, conflict takes a toll like nothing else on them. Conflict is disliked by many people, but it's more than that for an HSP. Being overwhelmed is frequently caused by conflict. It's a circumstance that necessitates quick, firm answers, sensory overload, while simultaneously bombarding them with emotional signals, emotional overload. This is essentially a 1-2 punch for extreme sensitivity. This may explain why HSPs have a hard time dealing with criticism, which carries the risk of causing conflict. Many HSPs deal with this, for better or worse, by going out of their way to make their significant other happy. This can be an issue especially if they do not speak out for themselves. If you're dating an HSP, be conscious of this tendency. Let your partner feel free to express themselves and work together to find gentle conflict resolution methods, listening skills, and fostering a comfortable environment for open, non-yelling debate go a long way. They are well aware that the majority of people do not comprehend them. HSPs account for roughly 15 to 20% of the population, and the vast majority of the remaining 80% have never heard of high sensitivity. As a result, HSPs are misunderstood rather than feeling misunderstood, and they're used to how most people deal with it, by attempting to classify them, imposing a stereotype on them, or simply telling them they're defective. You will stand out if you take a fresh approach, such as listening honestly and attempting to comprehend their perspectives. They'll admire you for it. You have to know that acceptance is the most enticing thing to an HSP. Let's be honest for a moment. Most HSPs have had a large list of prospects who took no time to grasp their personality. These are people who have exclaimed, "I adore that," in response to the HSP's inventiveness, sensitivity, or unique nature. That's lovely. But these same folks never say, "I also embrace and cherish the side that has needs, the side that has to process, the side that feels things so profoundly, the side that is inconvenient when it gets overwhelmed." Bottom line, HSPs experience unrivaled joy as a result of their relationships, and those with whom they share it are never forgotten. They'll gladly return the favor by keeping you in mind when they make small decisions throughout the day. Sure, things may become a little tangled from time to time, but isn't that true in every relationship? Sensitivity is a natural and healthy element of human emotion, and it's past time for everyone to embrace it. Hey, you've made it to the end of this video, so what do you think? Would you ever consider dating a highly sensitive person? Let us know in the comments section. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. Oh, and turn on those post notifications. Now, if you'll excuse me, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.